Welcome back, everybody. It's CAF out here. It's cold as, you know what I'm saying. All right. So, just a really quick intro from last night. I was not drunk. I did have one drink, but the light wasn't working on my garage. And this tarp, I busted my ass last night. I had an iced tea that I was carrying and taking to the house. I fell. I had remembered something from karate a long time ago, and that was to roll. So I rolled my ass so I wouldn't kill myself, and I'm okay. So we're all good. Anyway, this is going to be a snowplow hookup for the Snow Dog. It's a brand by Byers. Now this is a controversial plow. It is probably one of the most difficult plows to hook up. Regardless of that fact, I still like the plow. I like it. It's probably the sharpest looking plow that you can put on your truck, and that was the reason why I got it. But for the price, I could not buy it. So let's just cut the chase really quick, and let's do a quick hook up and unhook up of the plow. So it's right here covered, as you can see from my other videos. I use this to cover it, and it is flurrying right now, which is weird. There's no clouds, snow clouds in the sky. Just saw a couple flurries. So alright, anyway, let's get it unhooked. Truck over there, but unhooked from the trailer from the job last night, 2 days ago. Bring it over. Okay, it's unhooked. It's good to go. Alright, so we got the truck moved around, okay? First order of business. Now this is the Snow Dogg MD 75, which is the 1500 truck plow. So this is what it looks like. Stainless steel chrome. And it has the full icebreaker bar on the bottom down there. So scraper bar, you got your rubber up top here. Nicely built. And this is just a grill cover that I use. Take that off. That's just the grill cover, and we're going to bring the truck up to it. Now, actually, I don't like being that far apart. So, alright, so I took the grill cover off, which I use. Now we're going to bring the truck up to it. I got it lined up, and I'm going to go ahead and remove the 6x6 that I use. So I'm going to go ahead and crank this up just a little bit. See? This is what I was talking about. See that little flexi right there? I don't like that. That's why I put that there. So we can go ahead and move that. There you go. Alright. So, remember, I was doing it wrong. So when you do disconnect this, you put it on float. So you have to manually push this down by hand. So that is a free moving hydraulic. That will allow this to go on a lot easier than if that is on a locked in position. So got to remember that when you take it off. So now that you know that, we're going to go ahead and bring the truck up. I'm going to show you how to hook this up the easiest way that I do it. Big key is you have to be on a level surface. If your truck and plow is not level, you will not be able to hook this plow up. It is not the easiest plow to hook up. That's the problem that I've learned. A lot of people learn by trial and error, and I actually had to go back to the dealer to find out what was wrong with it, and that's what it was. And I thought that's what it was. Your truck has to be perfectly level with the plow. So that is a downfall to this problem. Alright, so don't mind the messy truck. So we're in the truck now. If you don't know how to do it, you put your foot on the brake, you put your truck in drive. You look for the D, the big D, okay? So let's just drive straight up into it. Now what I do is I use, on my truck, there's these little lines on your hood. Well, the Silverado has these little indentations on the side. I use the left ones, the left hand side, to line up with the left mirror. And that's just a good indication that your as straight on as possible. So I'll show you that really quick. If you can see, the left indentation is lining up with that left pillar post. Okay, I'm going to bring it in. All right, that's as far as you want to go, but you're pretty close right in there. So now what we do is put your foot on the brake and put it in park. Now here's another, I'm being goofy, but this is a real thing. When you put it in park and when you're going to the plow, is engage your emergency brake. And watch when I let go. No movement, right? Okay. Disengage emergency brake and watch what happens. The truck, it slightly shifts a little bit, so you don't want that when you're hooking your plow up. Right now you can do that, it's not a big deal, but when you get to the plow where it's hooked up, you want to put your emergency brake on to keep any shift in the transmission from slipping. So that's a big tip right there. Just keep yourself in a habit of doing that when you're working on the plow. So. Okay, so it is sunny. I'm sorry I'm wearing the glasses, but it is really bright today. So this is the first step for hooking up your plow. As you can see, I brought it in, what you saw coming along with me. I use these hood vents right here, these ridges in the truck right here, to line up this post right here, basically this mirror, to keep me in a ballpark lineup with the hookups down there. And that's a good indication over the years that I've learned that works, okay? So, number one, first order of business is make sure you know where everything is, okay? Now, because I already took this plow off, it should be lined up at the right height. You might have to find that. So first thing is you want your foot pedals, okay, they're in like that. You take these things off because this hooks it up. So they're on the back position like that where this post is that away. Okay, so go to the other one. Just take this off. Make sure they're operating freely. Here's a problem. This part here does bend, and I got to fix this one, so be careful if you're having problems with it. You don't want to force it. This little aluminum pin will bend. This one actually is bent. So there's your lock-on post. There you go. Now there is no channel that this goes in like some plows, so this is a really difficult hookup. It's got to be spot on. You're going to line it up with this post right here. And it hooks up to right there, so this has nothing to do with anything. This is just a frame. This is where the pin goes in, okay? So this has to go on the inside of that. This little nub and this little part right here, these line up with this bar. Like I was saying, this is not the best design, but it works, okay? So this is by far no easy, quick setup. You want to put this plow on when it's not snowing. Believe me. Alright, so here we go. And also some other things I'm going to get involved with. This is your stand that's holding up the weight of that. This is your jack. This comes off. You put that in the back of your truck somewhere. So there is a new model that has a jack that's already on it, and that's the 2 plow, the new version of this. So this one has it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have the camera down here so you can see it coming right into it, okay? So, that you can see that I'm off. Now I gotta go that way, so my lineup wasn't all that great. I'm way off. That's spot on, and I was using the pillar, but I use a little bit over to the side here, which gives me an accurate where I need to be. So let me get close in here and show you this. See that right there? That is, see, this side's a little farther out. That's because the truck is not in straight. So I can fix that by jacking the plow myself. See, there you go. That's another reason why I like this material. This stuff slides pretty good. If you're on a pretty coarse area, you're not going to be able to move this plow at all. So if you're in grass, it's not moving. You might want to put something on the bottom, like a steel plate, so it doesn't go through the grass where your jack is, because the jack will puncture through the ground. It'll go through wood too, so be careful with that. I am perfectly right on. And this is something that I really want to point out that I don't think anybody's pointed out. I'm using these ridges, lining up this tower, but you really got to get right about here, okay? Something that I've been wanting to do is put a tape line here, like something bright that I can see, so I'm gonna line. I think I'm going to do that this time. Is put like a tape or something with a line to line up with this ridge line to show you that you're right on, because if you go inside the truck, and I'll show you that, where you're at on that. So let's you see what I'm talking about? You see that ridge line? How it lines up with that mirror? Now if you're sitting back in your seat, that almost lines up with the edge of that mirror, but it could be deceiving if you don't get it just right. So that's right on. So if you want to remember that when the next time you hook up your plow, it gives you a better idea when you're pulling in to where you're lined up. Now if you really go with your eyeball, you can see both sides where you're at, but no one's that good. So there you go. Okay, so what I was showing you from the inside, we were looking down this ridge line to where I was right about there with it. So this is not really, it's a good pointer, but you're going to be over a little bit. So this is where you want to be, at the edge of this mirror, lined up with this. So that's why I never put tape here. It's been a while since I hooked the plow up. So now I remember it was this edge. Got to remember these things. That's why I'm just going to put a piece of tape here to remember that next time. But this is a little point. If you have a Silverado, I don't know what other truck, but this little ridge line lines up with that. Okay, so this is in a down position. All right. Now the fun begins. See, it's lined up just perfectly right in there. So I'm going to push the truck forward just a little bit, and I'm going to put the emergency brake in when I stop. This takes a couple back and forth to get it. If you're lucky, you'll get it on the first one, but most likely you won't. If I didn't get it right on the first one, holy crap, that's never happened. Alright, so I put the emergency brake on. Alright, it's in there. That went right through. And this never happens this easy, but it's in there. Okay, I really wanted to show how difficult this was for some. Alright, that's the importance of it being perfectly level. When you take it off, and you keep it in that spot you can get on. It's when you're putting it on for the first time or you move this, so keep that in mind. That's why I leave it right here. So that's over through, and then you put your pin in there, but don't put your pin in yet. Go to the other side and make sure that side's in. This is probably going to be the hard side. This is what I was talking about. See, it's not in. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm going to jack the plow by hand. Okay. When I say jack, I'm going to use my hand to kind of rack it over. That's the problem everybody has. It's in, but it is just a little bit off. So, look, if I just chalk it over a little bit more. There it goes. It went in. Alright. Then you put your bit out. This piece is bent, so it's a pain to get this in there. So you got to see a little bit of the frustration, but that's not so bad because it literally went in where the truck is level. Let's look back at this. You got to be perfectly. If your truck is up like this and your plow is down, it will not go in. It's got to be perfect flat. All right, so the other thing is that it goes. All right, so now that it's in, it's not going anywhere. All right, that's over. Put your pin in. Okay. The pin is in. Right. I put it in from the top down so it can't fall off. I've seen a lot of videos where they push it up like this. If that pops off, you lose it. So use gravity to your advantage and put it from the top down. Alright, these are your hookups. Now let's get the jack off, okay? It's not going to go anywhere because now it's all hooked up to it. So you just twist it and then pull it out, but you might want to release the pressure off just a little bit. Twist it, pull it out. It's just got these little locks that go in there. This is your drop pin. This will fall down on its own, or you can kick it back, but right now you don't need to. Another reason why you want to leave this loose is so you can do this with the plow. See? You have to just shove it in a little bit. It dropped on its own, so see, you need to get it in there just a little bit to knock it in. You can stick your shoulder, or you can stick your hand. That's what that's for. And this just falls out of its way. Okay, so if you've seen what I just did, how I used my shoulder to lift this, if you have any problems getting that in there, you can adjust it by doing that. So this is all freely down. Okay? Now we're going to hook up the plugs, which is really simple. So much. Okay. Alright, so you got your plugs in here. Right? The sun's going down a little bit, like it can go up. Right. So, your plow side, you have a male and a female that go to the other side, so you'll take these off. Now there should be lithium grease in here, or I forgot what you call that grease, electric grease. If you don't have enough, add some. There's plenty in there. I just recently did this. I'm going to show you what to do with these, okay? So, there you go. You put these on. Remember this from kindergarten. You put the circle in the square, or the square in the circle, or the square goes, the circle goes in the circle, right? Find this side here, hook that on, and when the truck is on, the lights will change over. Okay. This one. If the lights aren't on, I'll change over. Okay. Now this is a trick that I do. I take these and hook it to the other one, so that way you won't get all covered with salt and snow. There you go. So that way you won't lose these, or they won't get dirty. You can also wrap these around each other a couple times like this, and hold them tighter in place, and just lock them down like that, and wrap them around there. So this is all out of the way, and when you go take it off, you don't have snow all inside. Inside these things are salt, so that keeps those clean. Okay? So inspect all your pins are in good. They're all in good, and I'm going to go in the truck and turn it on. Alright, so here's your controller with a little salt doggy picture on there. Okay, so the power button's up here. See it lit up? Okay, your status is not on, so your plow is not operational yet. Let's go outside and look. Okay, keep in mind, with this truck I had to actually turn the lights on because it's daytime. I had the automatic lights, that's why the lights weren't coming on. So you can see, when it's hooked up properly, your lights will shut off on your truck, just your amber lights will stay on. Your blinker lights will stay on. So your blinker and your light comes on as your daytime running light or your regular light. and this is your high beam light. So your truck is bypassed. If you have fog lights, it doesn't affect it. They always work. So it's nice to have them, especially when you're driving with the plow up. You can see underneath, you know. So they're hooked up. It's all running. All right, show you the buttons. Okay, so here we go. A little green light, actually. You see it? That means it's on. So the plow just went on. See that? Right, there you go. So it goes up, left, right. So I can never do the center thing. It doesn't work on mine. Maybe something's wrong with it, but it doesn't center itself. And then there's the FLT on the bottom, which I'm going to get into next. Okay, so that's your plow up and down. Okay, so let's go down with it. Okay, it's down, but it's not in FLT. That's what you want to plow in. So hold it for a couple seconds. The orange light, it lights up, says FLT, that's float. That's what you plow in, and that is what you hook up. Okay, so it's in FLT. That's, like I said, that's what you plow in, and that's what you hook up, and that's what you dismount in. So the FLT button is what you want to be in. You just hold it in for a couple seconds, and it lights up. And as soon as you push up, it automatically goes into plow, up and down. So hold for a couple seconds, FLT. There you go. Alright, so now that it's in the FLT mode, I turn the power off. It's ready to dismount, so don't forget about your jack. I'm going to paint this thing orange because you will lose it, okay? So you go over to your up and down ram and you just it's not an FLT. Got to turn it back on. Alright, so it's an FLT. What you want to do is leave the power on. It's been a while. So there you go. See? This is real life, real. This is not scripted. I do make mistakes. So power on still, FLT, dismount it. Now you can turn it off. So the truck's a mess. I'm going to little cleaning. Little doggies on there. It's off. There you go. Simple. Well, this is nice to just jam it between your seat. They really should make a setup where you can hold it up higher because sometimes it's hard to hold it with one hand and drive. So, but you're only using it. Not supposed to be. It's not a video game. So anyway, so now that it's up like that, I'm gonna go ahead and dismount it. Okay, so what I'm doing here, you can't hear me. I put my shoulder into it, lifted it up so that kickstand that's underneath falls into place, and the gravity is holding the plow stand up now so that you can put the jack in. And as you can see, everything is level and you want to leave it this way. So unhook your pins and hook it off, and then you just unhook everything and then pull the truck back. So simple. See, it all slipped through. Unhook these. Grab them. little truck bed. That's pretty much it. So, if you got any questions about that, just fast forward and rewind and go back to the beginning, and it's simple. Now, see how it dropped a little bit? That concerns me a little bit, so she might be a little bit off now, so I gotta make sure it's cranked up just a little bit and almost stick that 6x6 behind the back of there so it doesn't go anywhere. I don't trust somebody getting hurt. Because now that it's in float mode, that's only being held up by gravity. It's all covered now with snow. All right, so what'd you think about that? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This is what I do to unhook my snowplow, my particularly Snow Dogg Buyers MD75. This is a 1500 plow setup. So I've seen a lot of reviews about this setup being difficult. It is, but if you have it perfectly lined up, it goes in easy. Now this is not the best setup, but it works. So you've got to have it perfectly lined up.